Am I audible?
Yeah, you're
Okay,
audible.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So I will start now. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः अर्धमात्राममात्राञ्च देवतां विजनोज्ज्वलाम् ओङ्काररूपिणीं देवीं नित्यं वन्दे सुनिर्मलाम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरये नमः. So we were looking at verses 3 and 4. Uh, and for verse number 3, etu aksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatragam achintyancha kootastham achalam dhruvam. We have seen the Shankara Bhashya on this. So we have seen what Bhagavan is trying to say. Bhagavan is basically, the background was this, that Bhagavan initially defined the Upasakas of his Vishwarupa, or if we take the Vaishnava interpretation of his Chaturbhuja Rupa, as Yuktatamaha or Yogavittamaha, the better among the two. Who are the two categories? What are the two categories? One is the Upasakas of Vishwarupa. The other is the Upasaka of Akshara. So if you have already said that the Upasaka of Vishwarupa is better, then aren't the people belonging to other category good? No, that is not what is being said. And then there is this set of shlokas, third and fourth, where he talks about the upasakas of Akshara, of the Nirguna Brahma. And he says towards the end, Te prapnuvanti mameva. They too attain me only. That's all. So this is where we were uh, discussing. This is what we were discussing, and apart from that, we looked at the bhashya for the third uh, shloka. So now I will move on to the bhashya for the Madhusudani and the Sridhari on this third verse, so that it becomes clearer. So that is what I'm trying to do. We are looking at all three. Hmm. So Madhusudani or Sridhari, as you have seen already, Sridhari is a much smaller uh, text. There are some issues also with the Gita super site. The issue is you will see that they have put a lot of question marks here. These are not question marks. We will have to take these as Purna Viram, not as Prashna Suchak Chinha. So here Sridhara Swami, he says, Yetu iti dvabhyam. That is, uh, he's talking about this verse, Yetu aksharam anirdeshyam. And there is one more verse he's referring to, that is 12.4. Yetu iti dvabhyam. That is, when you take Yetu iti and then the next verse also. So 12.3 and 12.4. This is the question that Bhagavan is trying to answer. He has already said that Upasaka of Vishwarupa is Yoga Vittama or Yuktatama. Then what about the other category, the Upasaka of Akshara or Nirguna Brahma? So for that, he says, Sridhara Swami says, Tarhi irare kimna shrestha itiyataha. So then aren't the isn't the second category better? Isn't the second category also is also good? So for that, to answer that, Bhagavan is giving these two shlokas. This is what Sridhara Swami is saying. This is Sridhara Swami's thing. And he's saying that by saying yetu iti etc. in these two verses, Bhagavan is answering this question. Now, yetu aksharam paryupasate, one who are meditating, dhyayanti, or worshipping, upasana, doing upasana of akshara, tepi mameva prapnuvanti, iti dvayoranvayah. There are two verses over there. Yetu aksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate, and then sarvatragam achintyancha kutastham achalam dhruvam. The second one is sanniyam indriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha. So two verses have come. And with these two verses, what is being said? That in the end, what came? Te prapnuvanti mameva. They too attain me. So even the upasakas of Nirguna Brahma will attain me, which is good. Now we are coming to aksharasya lakshanam anirdeshyam ityadi. Now the lakshanas, how do we understand what is akshara? We'll have some lakshana, some identifiers. One of them is anirdeshyam. You cannot indicate Nirguna Brahma with any particular word. We will see why that is happening in Madhusudana Saraswati's Tika. Yataha avyaktam rupadihinam sarvatragam sarvavyapi. Avyakta is rupadihina. So first word is anirdeshyam, then avyaktam. Avyaktam is rupadihina, does not have any rupa, etc. Sarvatragam means, or sarvatraga means sarvavyapi. Then what is achintya? Something which cannot be thought of. Why will that happen for Brahman? Because it is avyakta, avyaktatvat. That is, you can think of something which is very tangible, very manifest. So, Nirguna Brahma, thinking is also difficult. Kutastham, kute, maya prapanche. What is kuta? Kutastha. Stha means to reside in something. We say grihastha. Grihe sthitaha. Vanaprastha. Vane sthitaha. Right? So, kutastha. So, what is kuta then? Kuta is maya prapancha. In this illusory world, what remains as the true essence, that is called as kutastha. Maya prapancha is kuta, so the one that resides in this maya prapancha is kutastha. How does it reside? Adhishthanatvena. What is adhishthanatvena? I said illusory world, right? Illusion in what sense? In the sense of the Rajju Sarpa Drishtanta. That is, as there is ignorance, I end up seeing Rajju as Sarpa, as snake, rope as snake. But the moment that light comes, there is no darkness anymore, I realize that it was always the Rajju that was there. There was no Sarpa. So Adhishthana was Rajju, and the thing which was aropita, superimposed on it, was the Sarpa Satta, the Sarpa existence. Now, achalam, one more word comes, achalam, spandana rahitam, there is no vibration. What does that mean? For a thing to vibrate, it should have some inner components, right? But Nirguna Brahma is avayava rahita. It is without any components, so there is no spandana. Ataeva dhruvam nityam vridhyadi rahitam. Therefore, it is dhruvam, it is nitya. And what does nitya means? It is vridhi. Vridhi is to increase or to decrease. Whatever increases, decreases, grows old, and so on, that kind of a thing basically is destroyable. It is not nitya. So now Madhusudana Saraswati Pada. So for Shankara Bhashya, it's a little different. So Shankara Bhashya, what happens is Shankara Bhashya is covering the two verses separately. Madhusudana Saraswati Pada is covering them together. So we will see to the extent he covers the second, I mean the third verse, and then we will move on again to the Shankara Bhashya and see its Sridhari, if that if that if that is there. So there is some Sridhari again over here, a little bit here is given. So yes, I will go back to the third verse. So you see the commentary here is not changing because it's the same thing clubbed together for three and four. So what is being said? निर्गुण ब्रह्म वित् अपेक्षया सगुण ब्रह्म विदाम कह अतिशयः येन त एव युक्ततमाः त एव अभिमताः इत्यपेक्षायां तमतिशयं वक्तुं तन्निरूपकान् निर्गुण ब्रह्मविदः प्रस्तौति द्वाभ्यां ये तु इत्यादिना ये अक्षरं मामुपासते तेपि मामेव प्राप्नुवन्ति इति द्वितीयगतेन अन्वयः. I will gradually go into this vakya. Now, question is Nirguna Brahma with Apekshaya compared to the Nirguna Brahma Vidas, the knowers of the Nirguna Brahman. What is special? Kaha Atishayah in Saguna Brahma Vidas? Kaha Atishayah? Because of which Yena, because of which Taeva Yuktatamaha, they are the Yuktatamaha according to your opinion. In this context, iti apekshayam tam atishayam, to tell about that atishaya, that speciality, to tell about the speciality, tam atishayam vaktum, तन्निरूपक तन्निरूपकात् तन्निरूपकान् निर्गुण ब्रह्मविदः. The Lord is now presenting a description and of the Nirguna Brahmavidas and also giving the phala actually of what happens with Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Yetu is here, Yetu ityadina. ये अक्षरं माम उपासते तेपि मामेव प्राप्नुवन्ति इति द्वितीय गतेन अन्वयः. So we need to link the two verses. Which two verses? 13 and 14. There is an anvaya, there is a linkage. Who worship me in this form and by controlling their indriya, sanniyam, mendriya, gramam, etc., they too attain me only. So this is why these two shlokas have to be read together. Now, पूर्वेभ्यो वैलक्ष्य द्योतनाय तु शब्दः. See here this word tu has come, right? Ye tu aksharam manirdeshyam. So where does this tu shabda come? Tu shabda denotes that you need to see this verse as, or these two verses as marking the difference between the Nirguna and Saguna Brahma Upasakas. अक्षरम निर्विशेषम ब्रह्म वाचक्नवी ब्राह्मणे प्रसिद्धम तस्य समर्पणाय सप्त विशेषणानि. So there is a portion in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Akshara Brahma has been talked about in this Vachaknavi Brahmana, particular section of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. To denote that Akshara Brahma, seven Visheshanas, seven Visheshanas have been given. Anirdeshya. What does anirdeshya denote? Shabdena vyapadeshtum ashakyam. Something which you cannot indicate with shabda. We have seen this here also. Shabdena nirdeshtum ashakyam. Why is that the case? Is a question that can be asked. Now for that he says, Yataha avyaktam shabda pravritti nimittaihi जाति गुण क्रिया संबंधैहि रहितम जाति जातिम गुणम क्रियाम संबंधम वा द्वारीकृत्य शब्द प्रवृत्तेः निर्विशेषे प्रवृत्त्य योगात् कुतो जात्यादि राहित्यम अत आह सर्वत्रगम इति. So for a word to be able to indicate some vastu, there have to be four things, either of the four things at least, in this vastu. Jati. What is jati? Category. That vastu should belong to something. Suppose I see a cow. I will say that this cow is different from the other cow. That's true. But still, the cow is a cow. I will not give it some other name. I'm looking at an entity and I'm saying that this is a cow because it belongs to the cow class or cow category. So that is jati or category over here. In Nyaya, we have a term for this called as Samanya. The other is Guna. For a Vastu to be denoted by something, it should have some Guna. We may not have some other name for the Vastu, but we can say Dhani Gachati. A rich person is going. I may not know the name of the person, but I can say Dhani Gachati. He is Dhanavan. That is why I am saying this. Right. Then Kriya, the person may be doing something. So we say Kumbhakarah Gachati, one who makes the pot, the potter. So there is a Kriya related to that Vastu. The potter is doing some Kriya and I use the name Kumbhakarah, Kumbham Karoti or Ghatam Karoti. Is creating the Ghata. And Sambandha. We say Pita Gachati, Mata Gachati, Putraha Yachati, so on, right? So these are relation-based terms. So any vastu should have either of these jati, guna, kriya, sambandha. And because of that, shabda pravritti happens. In Nirguna Brahma, none of these things are there. Nirguna Brahma is nobody's father, mother, son. Nirguna means there is no guna also. Since Nirguna Brahma is the one and only, it does not belong to any category also. If there are two cows, you will say that they belong to the cow category, right? But there is no such category for Nirguna Brahma. What about Kriya? It does not do any action also. So, why is it so? So for that it says sarvatragam iti. Or what is it trying to say? That it is sarvatraga. It is sarva vyapi. It is everywhere. It is the reason of everything. That is why it is devoid of any jati, guna, kriya, sambandha. Because anything which is limited can only have a jati, guna, kriya, etc. The other thing is same, said Akashadinam api karyatvat abhyupagamacha. That is, what about Akasha? Akasha is also sarvavyapi, right? It is also all pervading. Then why not space? For this, it says that space is all pervading in one sense, that's true, but it is also karya. It is not sarva karana. Therefore, it is also not like Brahman. That is one thing. So, and it being a karya, Akasha being a karya, there is a sambandha. Karya karana sambandha it will have. So, therefore, for Akasha we will have a name. Akasha has karya karana sambandha. Akasha is created. If it is created, then there must be a creator. So, it does have that karya karana sambandha. So, sambandha does exist in it. And अतएव अचिन्त्यं शब्द प्रवृत्तेः इव मनोवृत्तेः अपि न विषयः. Therefore, it is acintyam. Unlike shabda pravritti or shabda vritti is usage of a word. So whenever I use a word, whenever I say balakaha, this word, balakaha is linked with some limited existence, some kid. So I say balakaha, I think of it. So I can think of the word and its meaning, right? But with Brahman, any shabda cannot really indicate it accurately. So there is no shabda pravritti. Also, shabda vritti can be made, can be thought of. Can be thought of. Sorry, rather I should say it in this way that any shabda that you use. Sorry, so I made a error over here. So shabda pravritti. So shabda denotes the fact that, or any shabda for something like a balaka, kukuraha, shukaha and so on, you have a entity. And the moment you do, when you do the shabda vritti, you indicate it by some word, you also think of it. You can think of the object also. But Brahman cannot be thought of. Because Brahman does not, I mean, how do you think of something? Either it is the vastu is thought of in relation to something, sambandha, or the vastu does something, it has some kriya, or the vastu has some guna, or the vastu belongs to some category. It is in these mental frames that we think of a vastu. Now, why is that the case? तस्याः अपि परिच्छिन्न विषयत्वात्. That is, any limited vastu which you can denote by shabda vritti. This shabda vritti happens only for limited things, and Brahman is not limited. And Brahman is not limited. And for that there is a Shruti Pramana that even you cannot think of Brahman with mana. So it says yato vacho nivartante. From here we will take yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Whom even mana along with vani fail to attain or reach and come back. Iti shrutehe. This comes from a Shruti Vakya, from Upanishad Vakya. Now Purva Paksha comes. That is, if you say that it cannot be thought of, then why do these Shruti Vakyas come? Tam tu Aupanishadam Purusham Pritchami. I'm asking that Aupanishad Purusha, I'm asking the Acharya, Drishyate tu Agraya Buddhya, one that is seen with the best buddhi. How are these things coming? And Shastra Yonitvat, that is one which is known through Shastra Pramana. How are these things coming? All of these things require some functioning of the mind. So, why are these things coming? Now, for this, it is said a samadhana is given. Samadhana is this, that while you are a practitioner, or doing some sadhana, you are doing Vedanta Shravana, you are listening to this topic of Jiva, Jagata and Jagadishwara. Finally, you get to know that Jiva and Jagadishwara are one and the same. They are Brahman indeed. Till that moment, so you have listened to this, you reflect on it, you may have some counter thoughts on it, you also resolve them. That becomes manana. Once you have resolved those doubts, you meditate on the conclusion. Once you meditate on the conclusion or the summary of Vedanta Saraha, you meditate on that, then what happens? It leads to the creation of a vritti. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi, this kind of vritti comes to you. And your avidya goes away. Now, what does, I've given a very brief background to this idea. Now, what does Madhusudana Saraswati Pada say here? Avidya kalpita sambandhena shabdajanyayam buddhivrittau charamayam paramananda bodha rupe shuddhe vastuni प्रतिबिंबिते अविद्यात् कार्ययोः कल्पितयोः निवृत्ति उपपत्तेः उपचारेण विषयत्वाभिधानात्. He is saying that I do agree that every sambandha, every transaction that we are doing is avidya kalpita. These are outcomes of ignorance. The ignorance is that we do not know till the moment. Suppose you know that you are indeed Brahman, you are Sarvavyapi. There is no motivation per se to think that okay, I am so and so, I am a researcher, I need to get these papers published. That will go away, right? In the same way, till the moment you are thinking that I need Brahma Sakshatkara, you do not really know that you are Brahman. Therefore, you are still working with this avidya. And with this avidya, you are performing certain actions. You are performing the actions of Shastra, Swadhyaya, Sadhana, and so on. What will that lead to? That leads to a certain buddhi vritti, certain thought. What is that thought? That is called as charama buddhi vritti. The last and the most important, the penalty, the ultimate buddhi vritti. That is aham brahmas. So what happens? In that buddhi vritti, what comes? The pratibimba, the reflection of the Shuddha Vastu, Paramananda Bodha Rupa. So, Nirguna Brahmas, pratibimba happens. It gets reflected in that buddhi vritti. So, for a moment, a thought comes which says that, okay, I am Brahman. And once that happens, avidya कार्ययोः अविद्या तत्कार्ययोः अविद्या तत्कार्ययोः कल्पितयोः avidya and its outcomes are all destroyed. The moment you know Brahman, there is no such thing which like an awareness of I am not Brahman, I am something this and this, so and so. That does not happen. Therefore, it is said, Upacharena Vishayatvavidhanat. Therefore, by Upachara, therefore, in that indirect sense, Brahman is the Vishaya of or subject of the Shastra or Buddhi. Now, we said that this Brahman has it appears as many because of ignorance. To reinforce that or to actually show that, Bhagavan has used the word kutastha. Atastatra kalpitam avidya sambandham pratipadayitum aha kutastham iti. So he's saying that to show this, that there is a imagined sambandha of the limited with the unlimited because of avidya, Bhagavan has used the word kutastham. What is kutastha? That definition is being given. Kutastham yan mithya bhutam satyataya pratiyate tat kutam iti lokaihi uchyate. That is, what is kuta? A thing which is false but appears as truth, that is called as kuta. Yatha कूटकाशार्पण कूटसाक्षित्वम इत्यादि. कूटसाक्षी is a false witness and so on. अज्ञानमपि मायाख्यम सहकार्यप्रपंचेन मिथ्याभूतम अपि लौकिकैः सत्यतया प्रतीयमानं कूटं तस्मिन् आध्यासिकेन संबंधेन अधिष्ठानतया तिष्ठति इति कूटस्थं अज्ञान तत्कार्याधिष्ठानम् इति अर्थः. एतेन सर्वान् अनुपपत्ति परिहारः कृतः. That is, this karya prapancha, this world that you see, this world is also mithya. But to the laukikas, to the people in general, it still appears as satya. Therefore, it is also called kuta. In this kuta, one who is present as an adhisthana, as a locus. Locus as in, what was the locus in our drishtanta? Rajju. Rajju or rope was the locus. Sarpa was the adhyastha. So, that which is superimposed. So, what is the relationship between Rajju and Sarpa? Sarpa does not exist after light comes. So, this is a mithya sambandha. It is an adhyasa, it is a superimposition. Right? So, similarly, the world as separate names and forms is mithya. It is superimposed on Satya Brahman. And this Brahma is therefore considered as kutastha, kute sthitaha or kute sthitam. It is present in kuta, in this prapancha, in this jagat. And अत एव सर्वविकाराणाम् अविद्याकल्पितत्वात् तदधिष्ठानं साक्षी चैतन्यम निर्विकारम इत्याह अचलम इति. Because this sakshi, the witness consciousness, knows that all these vikaras, all that is happening in this world is a is mithya, is avidya kalpita. That is, all of this is illusory in the sense that uh, those things are limited in time, space, etc. Only thing which is true, therefore, is Brahman, which is not limited in space, time, etc. So that being the only true essence and everything else being illusory, in using this definition, the witness consciousness remains nirvikara, achalam. That is why the word achala has come here. Because it is achala, it does not have any, or we can, by the way, or we can also say it this way, that all the movements, you may say, I am moving, I am playing cricket. Now, all of those things are therefore illusory. Illusory in what sense? In the sense that they are movements of the body, but you being Atman and Sarva Vyapi, is there a movement for you? No. You don't have, is there a reaction that you should have? No. So, because of that, achalam chalanam vikarah achalatvadeva dhruvam aparinami nityam etadrisham shuddham brahma mam paripasate ityadi. So, what is being said is that achala, therefore it is achala. That is, it does not move. How will it move? Right? It is not parichinna. Parichinna thing can have movement in space, time, and so on. Therefore, it is sthira, it is dhruva. Dhruva means sthira. We use the word dhruva, right? Dhruva is for the pole star. So why is it pole star? Because its position remains fixed. Now, dhruva, which also means it is nitya or aparinami. It does not have any changes. Whatever undergoes changes is anitya. Whatever remains, whatever is changeless is nitya. So the ones who do my upasana as such, do my upasana as such, like the Shuddha Brahma. And how is that upasana being done? With Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. With Shravana, what is happening? Shravanena Pramanagata Asambhavanam Upodhya Mananena cha Prameyagatam Anantaram Viparita Bhavana Nivrittaye Dhyayanti. That is, with Shravana of the Shastra, they will remove Pramanagata Asambhavana. That is, very broadly, I'm not going into the definitions of these things, but they will go and get a basic knowledge about me, about Brahma. They will know that anything which is limited is not Brahma. And that Brahma can only be known through Shastra Pramana. All of those things. And then, by Manana, they will, if at all they have any doubts about Brahman or anything else, mainly Brahman, they will remove those doubts by logic and thereafter meditate on me, which is Nididhyasana. And what kind of meditation has to be done? Taila dharavat avichinna samana pratyaya pravahena nididhyasana sangyakena dhyanena vishayi kurvanti iti arthaha. They will meditate on me like a constant flowing stream of oil. That is, just like a stream of oil does not have any breaks. In the same way, they will meditate on me without any other thought coming in. So this is what this particular, the Madhusudani for this particular verse says, now there is a fourth verse for which there is Shankara Bhashya and Sridhari, but we will stop it today at this juncture because it is a long technical discussion, and also I want to continue with the fourth verse in the next patha. This will take some time. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. With this, I end the patha. Any questions I will take once I stop the recording. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. अर्धमात्रां देवतां विजनोज्ज्वलाम् ओङ्काररूपिणीं देवीं नित्यं वन्दे सुनिर्मलाम्. Stop the recording. Any questions?